I've lost about 20 pounds in 60 days. My clothes are getting too big.
Hi guys, I want to introduce you to Brittany. She is one of our amazing strong moms, absolutely killing it in more ways. And I think the ways that matter to at least me and, Jenna and Holly and everybody, you're killing it in every different way, which is obviously why I wanted to chat with you. But can you give everybody a little background, like who you are, where you're from, just a little bit of a snapshot?
Yeah. So my name is Brittany and I am from Houston, Texas, and I am a former college volleyball player. And before Strong Mom, I'm married and I have 2 children. And I had just had my son, 18 months before I found Strong Mom. And so I was in a place of darkness in a way. And I don't know if it was, long-term postpartum or anything like that, but I was just really in a bad place. I was on the verge of divorcing my husband. I really didn't like what was going on in my life. And so when I saw Strong Mom's posts on Facebook, it was an ad. I originally kind of found interest in it because I am a business owner and I always want to learn more about other people's businesses. And I thought maybe that this was just a course, not a coaching thing. And so I reached out because I wanted to, purchase the course or whatever was being offered. And then when I met Dave and I learned everything that it was, I couldn't help but join. And so that's where I was in my life before Strong Mom, and definitely in a different place now. So yeah.
Wait, I love these because I didn't know that. I didn't know that's what originally your initial thought was. That's amazing.
Yeah, because I wanted to make a course online. And so I was like, oh, well, I'll learn from people that are successful doing it. So that's fine.
And here you are.
And here I
am. That is amazing. Okay. So you jumped on board and then I don't know, the last couple of posts you've done in our inner circle, especially the one today, can you just give everyone an idea? It could be everything of the things that matter to you. Where are you today? And how long have you been with us? That's also important for people to know too.
Okay. Yeah. So I think it was about 60 days ago is when I joined Strong Mom. And where I started, the things that I've kind of, in my opinion, benefited from Strong Mom are the weight loss, the workouts, and the mental clarity. And then what kind of intertwines with all of that is my schedule. So I've lost about 20 pounds in 60 days with you guys. And then I work out 4 to 5 times a week with you, because of the workouts that you guys give us. And then the mental clarity is finding out what I have found out about myself. I've changed my mindset 180 and figured out that, I'm really not in a bad place. I was turning everything from just normal, probably life into horrible. And so now I've changed how I look and view at things, and I'm not even normal. I'm positive, if that makes sense. So, and then with that, also with the working out and the eating and everything, and the prepping and all of that, I've learned how to eliminate the stressors in my day by just planning ahead of time. And then doing the schedule accordingly that helps me be successful with my kids and my husband in the same. So yeah. So about 60 days.
I feel honestly, I thought it was longer than that. I feel like we've known you for years. That's how, you know what I mean? That's how it feels.
Yeah. I get that.
I have a question. I hope you don't mind me asking. Do you find, and again, one of the things we try and explain to moms who are interested in working with us is weight loss will come, but
Right.
it's not I don't consider us to be a solely weight loss kind of program. Can you kind of speak a little bit, or do you find that to be true, that the weight loss is part of it? But can you explain to anyone that's watching who wants to lose weight, but doesn't want their life to revolve around
Yeah.
like that external, basically I'm struggling with here. Basically what we're told, and you as an athlete can understand this. When you're an athlete, you're constantly figuring out how to be more. You want to be more.
My clothes are getting too big.
And
right.
the more you are, the better of an athlete, the more you can show up, right? You want more confidence. You want to go for more. What I'm trying to say is, where I struggle is I know people come to us because they want to lose weight, which everyone wants to feel better. End of story. Like, I totally get that. But I think the narrative out there with a lot of weight loss companies is all about less, like in terms of, we just want, don't eat that, eat like a bird. And everything is focused on that be less type mentality. Sure. Can you kind of speak a little bit? And I know I'm putting you on the spot, but how, I don't know, if you do feel like we're trying to get you to be more, not do more, right? Like do more, but be more. Can you speak a little bit on how you're working on your mindset, but yet you're still losing weight?
Yes. So the whole like be more thing is, when you said that, all I could think about was like being more for my kids and being more present with my kids. And honestly, what you guys teach about eating is why you get the results and the weight. And it's more about making, in my opinion, making healthy eating choices more simple. I really liked that, it's like, eat like you like you guys started with the just eat what's on the list. And it's not like, you go from 0 to like 20, and then you go from 20 to 40, and then 40, and then you're, by the time you're done, you're probably at like 150, because you've got this really great system that's now working. And you didn't have to go from 0 to 100. So you didn't have to go from, eating really crappy to being super strict. It was just like, here, let's ease into it. So because of that, I've lost the weight, which then allows me to be more to my children, because now I'm not like dreading getting on the floor. I'm not dreading going upstairs and playing with them. Like, we live in a 2-story house, and the stairs are just stairs now. They're not like, oh, we got to go upstairs, or, oh, we got to go do this. It's like, okay, well, let's go. Or, oh, I forgot something. I can go do it. And I'm not in pain, and I'm not like huffing and puffing by the time I'm back downstairs. So the weight loss is the benefit of getting to do more with my children. And then, like, you talked about my post today, and
can you explain it really fast so people know, just like give a snapshot of what it was?
Sure. So I hired a photographer to take our family photos for the Christmas card on Saturday. And I went to it and had a great time with the photographer and my kids. And we had some really special moments and things like that. And the whole time, I never really worried about what I looked like. I knew that, one, I had prepped like my face and my hair before, just like everybody else would. And so I knew I looked good there, but I also knew that I felt good in my clothes. And so we just had a great photo shoot. I wasn't worried about anything the whole time. And so then when I got the photos back this morning, I just couldn't stop crying, and the excitement and the beauty and the moments and the greatness of that shoot. And then, one, the photographer was just phenomenal, but also I felt like it was easy for her to catch great photos because I looked good. I felt good. My husband looked great. He felt great. My kids are beautiful. And so we just had a great time. And so I shared that this morning because I just couldn't help but feel good about where I am and what you guys have provided for, the pathway to feel that way, in my opinion. And so I wanted to share that so that other people could be inspired to hopefully, have those same kind of moments, either now or when they're more into Strong Mom or done with it or whenever.
Yeah, I love that. I think I've said this on when I was talking to someone, because we try and explain to people that we want to change from the inside out, right? Everyone's focused externally. And I love it when our moms radiate how they feel on the inside. It matches what it looks like on the outside.
Yeah.
Like that's
what I felt like in those photos this morning when I saw them. I was just like, holy moly, it just like looks like I'm radiating happiness. It wasn't like a fake happy. It wasn't a fake smile. It was like pure joy is how I saw my family in those photos. It was really cool.
And I know I commented on it, but I'm like, that's everything, right? Like the weight loss comes, but if we focus on, just being present, think about how, and life is life. You're going to have moments where you're like, oh, I can't wait for this photo shoot. And then like someone's inevitably bawling in the corner and we're just like, just turn around and smile. Yes. But if as a mom, we can enjoy those moments and we can be present in those moments and not be so focused. I actually heard a quote and I'm going to jack it up, but it's basically how self-consciousness steals our presence.
Sure.
We're so focused on, oh my gosh, like I'm going to pull this down, or like, oh my gosh, how do I look at that? We miss the moments that we're trying to create with our family.
Right.
That makes sense?
That makes total sense because it has happened, I think, a lot in my life. Like, even yesterday, my volleyball club that I run, had their photos taken. So it was, it's a long day and the kids are all there prettied up and everything. And normally my subconscious is consuming my brain and how I look, because everybody else, I want to make sure they look good, but at the same time, I want to make sure that they think I look okay. And, but yesterday, I think this is kind of silly, but at the same time, perfect. My clothes are getting too big and I don't have clothes that fit me at the moment that are from my volleyball club. And so the shirt that I had to wear, or that I told all my coaches to wear so that we would all match, was too big. And so I like rolled up the sleeves and it was a dry fit, it doesn't stay. But I then tucked in my shirt into my leggings, which I would have never done before because, it was just it was too big. And so it wasn't big enough to where like it would cover everything, but I felt comfortable enough to stand there all day with my shirt tucked in so that I didn't look like a slob because, I wanted to look nice and I wanted to look good. And I felt good. And I took my picture with my shirt tucked in. I took my team photo with my shirt tucked in. And I never was worried about anything. It was kind of, other than like the things for business that I needed to be worried about. I wasn't being consumed by my brain or my subconscious.
I'm so glad you shared that, because it's those moments, right? Like, a whole photo shoot, you could go home and be like, what just happened? Like you weren't even there, but being able to see other people. And you know what else I'm thinking, because you're the one that actually wrote this on a different post in the inner circle, but you could have stopped your workout when your daughter came in.
Oh yeah.
And instead you just wrote, you know what, I'm going to finish it and let her watch me do it.
Yeah. It was, that was just last week, but yeah, normally I wake up early enough to do it all before they wake up. And she woke up and my husband woke up and I was like, well, I'll just finish it later. But I thought, no, I probably won't because I'll get busy and things will happen. So I'm just going to finish it now. She's going to see me do it. And my husband's going to be there and he can help her do what she needs to do. And I'll just finish. And it took me 12 more minutes or something. And I just finished it because I didn't want to not do it. That's not why I'm here. I wanted to do it. And then I thought it was great that she that was probably the first time she really got to see me do like real workout stuff. Because normally she's asleep or at school.
No, that's the coolest thing. Cause just like the pictures, I think, and again, when we try and explain what we try and do through like the Strong Mom program is we are modeling everything for our kids. So whether it
Yes.
is exercising and all of a sudden that just becomes their norm, whether it's going to photos, and when you're present and there and happy, that's what they see, as opposed to all of a sudden, you know, and I have a daughter, so I think of this.
Yeah.
I try and be very mindful of what I say, because I don't ever want something like that to come out of my daughter's mouth of like, oh, you know what, don't put me in the photo because I just don't feel like I look good, or whatever it is.
Oh yeah.
I don't want my daughter, she's 12 right now, I don't want that even to enter her brain. I want her to be at that photo shoot smiling and just capturing who she is at that moment, because that's who we are. And so when you said like, and let her watch me do it, and I was just like, I think I wrote that needs to be on a poster, because
Yeah.
I think so often it's easy for us to go, oh, I'm not going to do it because of my daughter, or my kids. I'm not going to do it because they're here and I want to put everything to them.
Right.
But if you just flip it and realize I'm actually doing it for my daughter, like you said, it was 12 minutes, right? We always think things are like, we think it's like, oh, I'm taking all of this time. And hopefully what I hope is that you feel like what we're doing and what you're doing is manageable, right? Like, we're moms.
Yes.
We try and explain, like, we're going to try and take things off of your plate and make it more streamlined, as opposed to I always call it the shiny object syndrome. Like, people want to work out standing on a freaking med ball, holding an upside down kettlebell on their head while doing like a one leg squat. And it's like, we don't have to make it crazy, but everyone always thinks in order to get crazy results that you have to like do all these crazy things. But at the end of the day, it really doesn't take much. It just takes reframing. Mm-hmm. Of course, there's work. Everyone listening, of course, you have to put the work in. Yes. But the goal isn't to overwhelm you so you can't do it.
Right. Well, so Jenna and I were talking last week, and when I started Strong Mom, it was before club season, which is my business. And so my workouts were more like 30 minutes to 40 minutes, depending on how fast I did them or whatever. And I was always getting up early before the kids were up. And then club starts, and my life goes from like 0 to 100 in a day. And so what was great, or what is great, is that you guys provide, I mean, you can change things. Like, so every week, Jenna sends the workout, and then the next week she's like, well, I'm going to put in 2 like shorter workouts to see if that works better for your schedule. And we'll do 1 long workout during that week. And then you let me know. And if it works, great, we'll move forward with that. If it doesn't, we'll go back. It's no big deal. Or we'll look at something completely new. And so I thought that was really great, because I don't know, I wouldn't even think to do that for myself. You know what I mean? And so to have that coach there every week or every day or whatever, however often we're talking, it's kind of cool, because she just, I don't know the word I'm looking for, but she just kind of catered it to what my needs were that in this stage of life, or the stage of the year or whatever. So I thought that was really awesome, and it worked out great.
Yeah. It's one of those things where it's like, oh, well, I couldn't do what I used to, so I can't do it anymore. It's like, well, no, there's plenty we can do, instead of maybe we can't do it exactly the same way, but there's plenty that we can do.
Yeah.
Right? We're all different.
And that's what I was also telling her that, so like I consciously made the decision to not work out during the week of Thanksgiving, because it was a little more stressful than normal, because we were hosting and all this stuff was going on. But the next Monday, I'm like revving to work out again. And I think that, or I told Jenna that if I had this been last year and I, let that happen to me instead of consciously making the decision, it would have been like, oh, well, I didn't work out during Thanksgiving. I'll just wait until after Christmas. And then January rolls around and it never happens. But this time it was like, no, I made that decision. I did it. I'm okay with it. It's not the end of the world. And Monday I'm ready to go at it again. And so that's what I'm talking about when it comes to the mindset. Like, you learn, I feel like, with you guys, like how to be appropriate in your thoughts. Like, I don't get overly emotional about everything anymore. I'm very like factual, I guess, in a way, but not to where it's like where you're cold. It's just facts. Like, I didn't work out. That's okay. I ate well. I paid very close attention to what was going in my mouth. So I know that I'm not like ruining the not working out. And then on Monday, I'm going to make that conscious decision again to get back into it. And it's okay that I didn't do it. And so that's very powerful in what is going on with me. Because like I said, that would have just been the detriment of everything in the past.
Yeah. And then that one, like you said, all of a sudden now it's March, you know,
Mm-hmm.
it's like one missed week sometimes can turn into March.
Yeah. And especially for me because like it's volleyball season. And then I just make excuse after excuse after excuse to, not do whatever I had planned to do, or, oh, I need to drive through this, or, oh, I need to go pick up this food for my kids because I just don't have time. Well, I have the time. I just need to figure out how to put the time together. And that's what I'm learning. And that's what I've gotten pretty good at. And that's why club season it's stressful, but it's not like that overwhelming weight on my shoulders, like really hard. At least not yet. It hasn't gotten like that. So that's good. I don't think it will, but
no, well, and Jenna and I say this so often, but if you can do it this time, this is the best time. It's, when you don't have much to do and you're killing it, it's amazing. You want to do it. But we always tell people when you can do it during the hard times, that's just that notch in, okay, there's really nothing that can come up,
right.
That can derail me.
Yeah.
And you're in your busy season.
That's right. And it's going well. So I'm excited.
Well, I have one more question, then I'm going to let you go.
Okay.
So you were someone, which again, now this is like all making sense as to why you were on the fence, because you came in after you were thinking that what we had to offer was different.
Yeah.
But you were on the fence. I remember it was like I just don't know. And you talked to Dave, I think twice.
No, just once, but we went for a long time.
Oh, you went for a long time. Okay.
Yeah.
So what would you say to someone who's in your position, who feels like they really want to make a change? They want to feel happier, healthier, both mentally and physically. Because again, the physical part absolutely matters, but matters more.
Right.
What would you say to someone who was on the fence like you were? What would you say to the Brittany 60 plus days ago?
Honestly, just do it, because the reason I was on the fence was it's not the cheapest thing, right? So that's okay. Anything worth doing is actually probably expensive. But what was kind of, it was like, well, do I use that money to go this route, which was like maybe seeing a therapist, marriage counseling, things like that, or do Strong Mom and really work on myself and figure out who I am? Because in that the call with Dave, I had a moment, and he said, I was telling him about being a former athlete and like who I was and all this stuff before I became a mom. And what did he say? Oh my God, I had it and then I just forgot. But he told me, he said, it sounds like shame, like you're shameful for who you've become. And I just like lost it. I was like, whoa, that was so powerful and so true that I never put a word to it. And it proved to me that I really needed to work on myself, and it wasn't that because like I said, I was on the verge of filing for divorce, and it wasn't really probably the marriage. It was probably me bringing whatever this shame to my marriage and then turning it horrible. And so when he said that, I was just like, yeah, I have to do this, because if I don't, then I'm always going to feel that way. And if I could even just change a little bit from there, it's worth it to me. And so any mom who I think probably the one thing that would hold most people back would be the finances. I say, figure it out because it's so worth it. Like the community of women is amazing. Lauren and Jenna and the new coaches are amazing people. And so, and I don't know, I just don't think you won't feel like you didn't get what it's worth out of it, if that makes sense, or what it costs out of it. It's just, to me, is the word invaluable. It's an invaluable community of people. And whatever is being taught to us in y'all's modules is just, you can find it elsewhere. You just can't find it all together, if that makes sense. Because I'm a huge mindset person. I mean, I teach it to my kids, my athletes, I teach it to everybody, where it's all about the mindset and where we're going and how we think about ourselves. And now I see it tenfold with all of the content that you guys teach us. And it's nice because it's all together. It's in one place. I don't have to go to this person to learn this and this person to learn that. It's like, it's kind of like you've taken all that information from all those gurus that I've once read about or read their stuff, and you've put it together and made it Strong Mom. And it's just perfect. It just works great.
No, I'm glad. And I'm glad you feel that way, because that's essentially what we tried to do. So it's always good. It's like we have all, especially I've been so lucky to have the coaches that I've had and, between mindset coaches, mental performance coaches. And at the end of the day, whether you're showing, at the end of the day, it's showing up, right? Whether you're showing up in a sport or you're showing up in life,
right?
You want to show up in a manner that is, the confident you. Yeah. And so I'm glad you feel that way. People will be like, well, what's different? I'm like, a lot. Like, I just don't know where you'll find. I haven't yet found a place that has all the different pieces. There's like a weight loss place, and then there's like straight up mindset, and then there's like straight up life coaching, but I haven't seen anything that is all in one. So I'm glad you feel that. I do have one last question that might be out of the blue, so just want to make sure like everything's better with your hubby, which makes me literally gives me the goosebumps. And would you say though that working on yourself, because again, like we can't control other people. This is what we talk about. Yeah. But we can't control how we respond. Do you feel like it's helping?
Yeah. Like, I think that, and what I have learned in life that I tend to have forgotten sometimes, and that's, I think when stuff goes down, is how you think about a situation can be good or bad. It's not, like what you might think is a bad situation can actually probably be a good one. Or like what my husband, one thing that he does, I could look at it poorly, or I could look at it like in a good way. It's positive or whatever. And so the things that I've kind of noticed is that what he does doesn't annoy me anymore. It's just factual, and it's just what he does. And either I can react to it and not fix it in a way of like, I'm going to fix him, but like, this doesn't really happen, but I've heard this example a lot. Like a lot of husbands leave the cabinet doors open, and I could get really upset every time he doesn't close the cabinet door. Or I could just look at it and say, what does it really matter? I'll just close it. And I'm okay with that. And then we can talk about it. Like if it really bothered me that much, we could have a conversation about it, or we don't have, like, I don't know. I'm just, yes, it's helped a lot because it helps me realize like, I don't know what the word is. Yeah.
He's not just like actively trying to piss you off at all times.
Yeah. Like it's just who he is. And that's where I feel like I was getting to I was in the, and when I say darkness, I mean, I was like, everything he did was just anger. It was anger towards him, and it was resentment, and it was this, and it was that. And it was just like, I could have talked for hours about how horrible he was. And he's really not horrible. And I love being married to him, and I love our life, and I love our family. And I knew that before too, because I would even say that, like, I don't want to divorce him because I love our life and I love what we've built and I love everything about that. But I can't, I was like, I can't stand these things or blah, 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 blah. And now it's like, I have forgotten whatever I was so mad about before, I'm just like forgotten it. And it's not really there. It's not that dark cloud that I have to like, go through to get to the other side. It's just, we live our life. We communicate a lot more now, which I've always wanted, never knew how to get it. But you guys have helped me figure out my voice and like, how to use the voice in the marriage and not be apparently, obviously I was doing something wrong before. And so it's helped me figure out how to do it right with him. And it's helped a lot. And I've always wanted like weekly meetings with him to talk about the schedule. And we're slowly getting there. We do the grocery list together now, and we sit down and order things on Sunday and pick them up on Monday and have everything for the week. We never did that before. Like I was telling you earlier, we sat down, went through Amazon and bought all the Christmas gifts at one time. And we communicated without arguing, which was huge because especially in these situations where I've like picked 20 things, he normally like kind of picnics at what I've picked. And then this time it was like, no, I trust you. It's fine. Here, I added a couple more. Do you want to take this out? I'm like, what is going on? This is amazing. Like, this is so great. This is what I want. This is what I've always wanted. And we're getting it. And so I've done something right along the way to harbor that, what kind of feels like for him, a safe place to just have those conversations where normally it used to be an argument. So it's good. We're working that. We're getting there slowly.
No, thank you for sharing. I wanted to highlight it because that's something we hear often is like, relationships kind of on the rocks, or it could be better. Right. And communication's everything. And we hear that. And we find that oftentimes, how we feel internally gets projected externally, which can create friction. And so if you have two people in a marriage, if you have one person that's already has a little bit of that, unsettling internally, it's hard. The communication's hard. If you have two people that don't feel great about themselves, or they find themselves, then it's, like you said, it's not even right or wrong, but you're completely missing each other. Like you were communicating in a way that you knew how to communicate, but he wasn't understanding it not because he didn't want to, but it was just different. And so, I just wanted you to elaborate and thank you. Cause I do know we hear that a lot.
Good.
And we hear pretty much like, well, I'm this close to being, getting divorced. And, and I didn't want people to know that there are ways to move forward and mend whatever issues that are, I won't say fictitiously created, but I think we create a lot of our own issues. Right.
Yeah.
So thank you for sharing.
And I told Dave when I was, doing the call and trying to decide. And at the end I said, I'm going to spend the money and do it and do 4 months initially, with you guys, spend that money, do it. And if at the end of the 4 months, I've 100% worked on myself and I'm still in a place where I want to divorce my husband, then I know that that's what really was supposed to happen. But at the end of 4 months, if I'm in a great place and I, again, now love my marriage and love my husband and all that again, then I knew that I probably wasn't in the right place to make that decision. And so I felt that the 4 months was a good time to figure out myself enough. And if, and like you said, you got to do the work. And so if you do it and you really make the conscious effort to make yourself better mentally and physically and be more healthy and all of that, then there's no reason, at the end that you're not going to be in a better place. And that's just how I felt about it. So I feel, 60 days in, I've got 60 more, and I can't even imagine how greater it's going to be then than it is now. But I was writing out my health map thing the other day and almost came to tears with what I was writing. Like, if this happens at this time, like I'm going to be in a really great place. So. And I think it will, but
isn't that crazy? I love that we have you do it, because when you first start, the world seems so small. It's like,
yeah,
oh, if I could only just do this teeny thing. And then all of a sudden, a couple months in, you're like, wait a minute, that's like nothing. And the world opens up, right?
yeah, yeah,
Cool. Well, thank you for hopping on.
yeah, no problem.
I'm going, guys, Brittany, please say hi. Oh, this makes me literally like goosebumps a lot, because the things that you talk about to me are the things that matter. Living, present, relationships, communication, just there's so much more. We're whole people. So I love that you're feeling more whole.